Good evening, everyone. Pastor Nirant here for our live broadcast. The Lord bless you all as you are coming in. Please do me a big favor. Share this video. Share this video and let's get people on to the platform. We're going to be speaking on the current events that is happening in our world today. Current events that are happening in our world today. We're going to talk about racism in our society. Racism in our society. So please share this video, share it to every group, share it everywhere. And also, I am live on YouTube. But for those people that cannot use Facebook, you can also join me live on YouTube. So all you have to do is just hit my my name, Nira Kolawole, and you will see me live. And please do me a big favor, subscribe. I'm trying to get 100 subscribers between now and hopefully between now and the end of the month. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers. So I need everyone to please join me on this and yeah, just let other people know that we are here for a live broadcast. The Lord bless you all as you are coming in. Hit that share button. Let's let people know that we are live and let's have a good time together. We're going to talk about racism in our society. Racism in our society. Racism in our society. We are living in uncertain times. We're living in perilous times, challenging times, difficult times. But I equally think that even though we are living in such times as this, it is important for us to that the truth, that we discover the truth and we live by the truth and for the truth. Growing up in this part of the world, especially, I just recently moved to America. So I lived in Canada for I can't remember, I think about 30 years of my life. Yeah, I think 30 years of it, I lived in this part of the world. So I know what it means to be a black person, a black man living in a predominant white society. But in Canada, racism is a little bit different than it is here in America, in the sense that in Canada, it's not visible, in the sense that it's not. I'm not saying that we never had racism happen to me. I mean, I can't recall a specific event that racism happened, but you always get that feeling. I know for some of you, you would understand what I'm saying. You're about to go in for an interview and you walk into a place and everybody there is white, and you always get that sense that you are walking from a place of disadvantage. Remember, at this time, of course, you probably have already sent them your resume, so they have a copy of your resume, but this time they are now trying to put a face to that resume. So I've always had that feeling of wow. And the moment when you walk into that interview, you are coming from a place of disadvantage just based on the color of your skin. But coming to America, a lot of the people I've spoken to, that hey, here is a little bit different too. That the racism here, they can come to your face and tell you that hey, who are you, or who do you think you are? That's the racism more or less here in America, where it's systemic. It's rooted in the system, that there are more blacks in prison compared to whites. that the income disparity is so glaring, that the justice favors more for it doesn't work for blacks, but it works for others. So racism has been something that has been in this country for about 400 years. But you would think that the most powerful nation of the world would have solved the issue of racism in this country, but yet you see it everywhere. You see it on how you see it in what people say. You see it in how the cops treat people. You see it on how like I said earlier, when you're about to get a job or you're about to apply for a job and you're there for an interview, you get that feeling that, oh, he's black. Or for instance, we even get that feeling even in church. In some churches today, a white person would never go and listen. I'm not saying some, of course, some will. A white person would never go to listen to a black man preach. There's always like this. It's what can I learn from such a person? That is the society that you and I find ourselves in this time. I just want to share some few points for us as it pertains to this topic, that I'm hoping that it will help us as it pertains to racism in our society. Will racism ever go away? Personally, I don't think so. I think there are some people that it is in it is the way that they were brought up that they just cannot shake. It is what they are taught. But what must we as the black race do? How must we combat it? Which I'm fully behind those that are peacefully protesting, because we need to let them know that, hey, we have rights, we are the same. Well, there should not be any racism of any kind based on the color of your skin. And one of my favorite quotes was by Martin Luther King, and he says that, he says, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. Let me say it again. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And what I like about this move, especially that was triggered by the George Floyd incident, that it sparked a global movement. I was saying to my wife that, can you imagine what would happen if that lady, I think that lady should be a star, because the lady that took that video, if that lady never took that video, we would have never had anything about what took place. And we would, and just it would just be another person that died in the hands of a white officer. So, and the world took it. You see them doing protests in UK. You see them doing protests in Australia. You see them doing protests in France. You see them doing protests everywhere, because it is time for us as black people to rise. We have been oppressed for too long. We have been kept back from accomplishing great things in our time. The racism that we face is not just a function of the color of our skin, it's a function of everything. It has limited us. There are certain jobs that black people could get, but they don't get it. Why? Because of the color of their skin. And just like Martin Luther said, I have a dream where it will not matter about the color of your skin, but by the content of your character. That it will be about what you have on the inside. It will be about what you have. Not, you will not be judged based on the color of your skin. And I believe that if us Black people can raise our voices and begin to speak against this injustice and begin to protest against this injustice. But I equally believe that there is something that must take place even within us. That as great as this protest is, as important as this protest is, it is time for us to arise. When you talk about poverty, when you talk about mediocrity, when you talk about those that are being left behind, there is no other race that it ravages more than the Black race. In the job that I do now, I get to go to a lot of low-income houses. And when you go to those low-income houses, 95% of the people in those low-income houses are Black people, Black families. 95%. So it is important for us to rise as a people. Now, the first thing I believe needs to happen amongst Blacks is we must have a genuine love for ourselves. The truth about Black people is Black people don't celebrate their kind. Black people they don't appreciate their kind. They don't celebrate what they have. We must break out of that mindset. You can see white people gather together. You can see other races gather together, and not just gather together, they gather together to accomplish a specific task. They gather together to put money together to accomplish something great. So if there's anything, as more as Black people, we need to come together to accomplish great things together. We need to come together to really put our resources together. That's number one. We need to have a genuine love for each other, genuine desire to see each other succeed, genuine desire to be everything that you could be. We need to have that amongst ourselves. That's number one. Number two, there are certain people that have made it in life. They have made it, like they're the Michael Jordans, the Tiger Woods, great men, Black people that have made it together. Why is it that we don't have Black banks, banks that are owned by Black people and that are now using their resources to empower others? Because also, Black, once they find out you are Black, in some banks, they won't give you loan just because of the color of your skin. So why is it that we don't have these Black people coming together? And there's a show called Shark Tank. Why is it that Black people don't come together to empower their own people? To empower that brother that has a business, that all he needs is financing, or that sister that has a business, that all she needs is just financing. So it is important for those of us that has achieved a level of success financially to always give back to the people that need it in our society. So we need to have those great Black people, those billionaires, to create a fund that would, now I don't believe in just give money to Black people. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. But to empower Black entrepreneurship, to empower young people to enter into politics, so there needs to be an empowerment not expecting it from without, but to come from within. So we need to have the black people that are well to do, to see how can they mentor others, how can they train others, how can they help others. That's on that part. I went to one person's home, low income house, and you will see all type of shoes, Nike, Jordans. And this person is living in a low income house, and it's very rampant. Let me even give you another story. When I go to black people's homes, every single room has a television. Every single room, living room. Let's just say they have 4 bedrooms. So they will have a TV in the living room. They have a TV in all 4 bedrooms. What am I trying to say? As black people, we need to stop being consumers. Meaning that when money comes, that person takes their money, hard-earned money, they worked hard for it, and they take that money and they spend it on television, they spend it on internet, they spend it on phone, they spend it on buying the latest, they buy iPhone, if it's iPhone 20, they buy it. If it's S20, they buy it. If it's Jordan, if it's the new Jordan or a new LeBron James, they have to get the LeBron James. They have to get his shoes. There is a saying that 75% of the shoes are bought by black people. 75%. That means that we take money and we consume it. There's equally a saying that the moment when money hits a black person, it only has one life, then it's gone. So this concept, the concept of saving, the concept of investing, the concept of not spending everything you have, the concept of that money is not supposed to be spent, needs to come to the black race. So if I have $1, I'm always thinking of how can I save this dollar. If I have $10, I'm not trying to spend all the $10. I am looking for how can I save this money and how can I move to the place of investment. So as black people, we need financial empowerment. Not just people giving us money, but we need to learn how money works. And this is going to be another point I'm going to share. And I was saying this the other day. Can you imagine that when they talk about the top 20 countries in this world, there is no mention of a black nation? That means a nation that is dominated by black people that sits in the world stage. There needs to be a rise of black nations that are prosperous, black nations that are prosperous, black nations that are entrepreneurship, black nations that are into technology, black nations that are developing their own nation. So that whenever anything is happening, you and I have a nation that we can point to. You and I have a nation that, yes, look at what Nigeria is doing. Nigeria was the first nation. Nigeria just sent a man into the moon. Nigeria just invented the latest technology that is just taking the world by storm. You know, that to me, Nigeria has the capacity to be one of the world leaders. But what needs to happen? What needs to happen is our mindset needs to change. Our thinking needs to change. Don't get me wrong. When you talk about Nigeria, Even in America, they say is number one as it pertains to education. But we must take that education and we must convert it to become a developed society. We must convert it to become the nation that is creating this. We are creating that. We are not looking for other people to come to our country and do it. No, we cultivate our own. We develop our own. We make our own products. We make our own cars. We make our own electricity. We solve our own problems. We invest into research. We encourage entrepreneurship. So if there's anything that the black race needs desperately, is a black nation that is rising to be one of the players in the world markets. Right now, there's no black nation. Right now, we're always looking for help. We're always looking for someone to assist us. We're always looking for someone to give us handouts. We're always looking for someone to come to our country and do it for us. We're always looking, even though we have those resources, even though we have those people, but we have not cultivated our own. If we want racism to stop, if we are really serious that we want it to stop, it's important that we march. It's important that we speak, but we equally need to work on ourselves. We equally need to strive to be the best. We equally need to work hard that whenever I stand next to a white man or a Caucasian man, I stand as the best. My product is the best. I can vouch for my product. And if they will not allow me, I look for another means so that I can begin to compete with the best of them around me. So we need black nations to rise, to become one of the world players, to become an economic power. What do we also need? We need economic empowerment. That means we need more black millionaires, more black billionaires, more black millionaires. We need more black people, talented, educated. We need more of them. Not just to go to work for a white person. We need black businesses, big businesses. Big. I'm talking about when you talk about the top 100 companies in America, or when they talk about the 100 companies in the world, it is headed by a black man or a black woman. So the black race needs financial empowerment. Equally, we need political empowerment. That means we need to empower young black minds, young black women minds, and bring them to the place of politics, bring them to the place of occupying high places. We need to empower them. In Canada, I met an Indian person. Do you know what the Indian person told me? The Indian person told me that we came to Canada to dominate. We came to Canada to rule. We didn't come to Canada to play. So what am I trying to say? Therefore, we too we that are in America need to rise and become one of the players. That if they are going to pass a legislature, they cannot pass that legislature because you carry financial weight, because you carry financial power, because you have the power, you can lobby, you have lobbyists, you are fighting for your own interests. They talk about lobbyists, people are always lobbying for the things that would benefit them. We don't have lobbyists. Why? Because we don't have financial empowerment. So we need big businesses that are owned by black people. We need education that trains us how to live, not to be looking for somebody to give me this and give me that. That we live an empowered life. We are empowering our own. We take our education and we convert it, and we're able to take something and make something out of it. And we need those that have achieved a level of success to give back to their people. If we don't do this, I personally don't think racism will come to an end. I think that this is an opportunity for us to rise up. This is an opportunity for us to be the best that we can be. We need Black lawyers. We need Black engineers, and they are the best at what they do. We need sound political minds that when they sit in the table with a white person or a Caucasian person or an Indian person, you can say that this guy, he knows what he's talking about. We need such people in strategic places to fight for our cause. And that is when legislation can change. That is when we can be one of those players. That is when that we can rise from the place of being associated with lack or income disparity and now begin to become one of the shakers, the one of the movers, one of those that are causing things to happen in our time. So though I side with those that are going out and fighting for what is right, but I equally think just as we are fighting for what is right in society, we need to go back and we need to work on ourselves and we need to be the best version of ourselves. And we need to we need to send a message to the Michael Jordan. And he the other day I think he said he's gonna do like I think it's 100 million in 10 years to fight racial injustice. Yeah, that's great. But equally, I believe there needs to be empowerment. There needs to be an empowerment for the young entrepreneurs that are Black. There needs to be an empowerment for the young entrepreneurs that are women, men. They need to empower them. They need to help them. They need to support them. They need to mentor them. They need to connect them. Release your connections to those people. Do training, train people, train young men to rise up, to be everything that they can be. And I believe that when we begin to do that, and when we begin to see people in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Ivory Coast, in those nations that are heavily of Black people, that they are now rising up and they are building their own nation. And the nation is now having great scientists and great doctors, and they find the cure of cancer, they're finding the cure of this, they're just doing amazing things. Then I believe then that the Black race can become, that racism will no longer be a thing in our society, because we have, first of all, we have worked on ourselves and we have positioned ourselves to bring radical change to our society. So let's go for it. Let's do what we have to do. Let's rise up. Let's not look for the pennies that the white people are going to give us. No, let's go and take what is ours. The Bible says the earth is the Lord's. The earth does not belong to any white, any group, any people group. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So let us rise. This is just my discussion with you. Let us rise from the clutches of all that is happening. Let us not allow anything or anyone to belittle us anymore. Let's love ourselves. Let's support our kind. Let's be there for each other. Let us fight this fight together. But then after we have gone out and done all that, let's go back. Let's train our children. Let's tell them how money works. Let's encourage them to strive high in education. Even when we have gotten education, let's not just limit ourselves to our education. Let's do self-development. Let's do self-discovery. Let's do financial seminars. Let's do financial empowerment. And this is my message for the church, especially a church that has a lot of Black people in it. Let's empower them. Let's no longer be just job seekers. Let's not look for people. Okay, go and get a job. We'll pray that God will give you a job. No, let's stop be job seekers. Let's be job creators. Let's be men and women that create jobs. That we create companies. We have small businesses, and then that small business becomes a big business. Let's let's strategize. Okay, how can we rise up? Let's stop telling people to go and be a slave to another man or be a slave to another woman. No, you are not a slave. You have what it takes. You have the ability. You have the know-how. You have what it takes to rival anybody. You simply need to discover yourself and create that business. After you have, okay, fine. Even if you have to work 9 to 5, yes, you work 9 to 5, but when you come back after 9 to 5, you begin to work on your own dream, your own passion, your own desire. That thing, that greatness on the inside of you. You no longer settle for the status quo. You want to start your own thing. You want to have your own company. You want to be a CEO of your company, and you're working hard. You're working tirelessly. So therefore, in the church, we need to train people to work hard for their own purpose, for their own calling, discover their own calling, and go out and make it happen. Go out and be a blessing. Go out and create that product. Go out. Stop spending your money on things that are irrelevant. Stop spending your money on things that have no value, that doesn't add any value to you. But spend your money, invest in yourself, study, develop yourself, give your energy to your calling, to your gifting, the gifting you. Don't limit yourself to just that 9 to 5. Think bigger than that, think more than that. We need to begin to raise men and women that think big, that no longer think small. After you have graduated, after you've gotten your experience, start thinking of how can I start my company, how can I start my business, how can I, okay, even if you have your business, how can I scale it to become bigger? So therefore you go for mentorship, you take courses, you study, you do what you have to take. You read books. You don't sit down there and begin to say, oh me, oh why am I like this? No, you get books, you read books, you read. Listen, if you ever read about the top 10 billionaires, there's one common denominator. They read every single day. They are adding value to themselves every single day. They are learning every single day. So what does that tell you? That tells you that you need to do the same thing. Don't just depend on your career and your job. I have my job. No, think bigger than your job. Start thinking about business. Start thinking about investment. Start thinking about, okay, let me develop myself. Start developing your gift, your talents. And then guess what? Begin to step out and make things happen. The same, this, listen, God is no respecter of race. God, I'll say it again, God is no respecter of color. The same way black, whites are making things happen, having big business, Black people can do the same thing. If only we can discover those principles and imbibe them in our lives and no longer just look for a job. No, you sit back and you begin to think, what can I do? And you begin to take a look at what you have and you begin to walk towards something. You begin to walk towards having something that is yours, having something that belongs to you. You're not always looking to send out resumes. No, you are receiving resumes from people. It's possible, but our mind needs to be renewed. Our mind needs to be put to work. I've always said, for you to rule in this life, you need this. This is what needs to be used. This is what will make you on top. Whenever you come home from work, don't get TV. No. Of course, have a TV time, but you must have done so much work on yourself that you have some, maybe you have 1 hour, that you just 1 hour you want to spend on things that have no value. I believe that when Black people do this, my God, there's a saying that if you want to hide anything from a Black man, put it in a book. And that's what's happened to our race. We don't read. We read in school, but outside of that, we don't read. So this is my appeal. Racism in our society. I firmly believe that these things are happening as a sign for us to rise up. This is an opportunity for us to rise up as a people and take this nation and take this generation. And we can be the generation that eradicates racism if we do what? If we do what? We work on ourselves and we correct those things that have kept us back for centuries. And then we get rid of our slavery mentality. We get rid of our slavery mentality, or our excuses. The reason why I'm not there. Yes, I'm not saying that white people don't do stuff for all they do, but we need to get rid of our excuses. We need to get rid of our murmuring, and we need to rise up. The ability to rise is inside of us. The gifting is on the inside of us. And if we can just tap into those things, tap into those resources, it's never too late for you to get that degree. It's never too late for you to get that master's. It's never too late for you to become a doctor. It's never too late for you to start reading books. Start reading books. Read, read, read. I cannot stress the most important, the point of reading and self-development. You must give yourself. You must give yourself. You must work so hard in yourself that when you go to that interview, and you begin to talk, this person will say, this brother, this person knows his stuff. And I'm going to close with this story. I will never forget this story as long as I live. I was in high school during this time, and I met a Russian guy. And I don't know why, me and him just hit it off. And we were so close. We talked about everything. We talked about life. He told me about Russia, what it's like. I told him about where I came from. I told him about how long I lived here and all of that. So, and I was only supposed to be there for 2 months because now it's time to go back to school. And guess what? Guess what the person now said to me? He was driving me to where I was going to catch my bus and go back home, and he's not going to go back. He's like, I want to tell you something. He said, I never used to like Black people, but until I met you. He says, me meeting you has changed my life, has changed my perspective of Black people. You and I, what am I trying to say? You and I have the capacity to change people's views on Black people, change people's perspective on Black people. How? By revealing to them the goodness of God, by revealing to them that I am just like you, but the only difference is just the color of my skin. And when that one told me that, I broke down and cried. I will never forget that. You and I have the ability to change that person in your office. You and I have that ability to change that boss of yours. When you do what? When you go there and you strive to simply be the best that you can be. And I believe that when we do these things, racism can be a thing of the past. In my generation, in your generation, in Jesus' name. Well, I hope this little discussion was able to help us, to stir us up. It's just me sharing my thoughts with you. Please, if you have not done it, share this video. Let's go and take this war by storm. Our generation is waiting for us. I believe that before Jesus comes, the Black race will be one of the most powerful races on the face of the earth. Thank you so much. Until next time, until next week. Sorry, I didn't do my verse to verse of Philippians. We'll return back next week, Sunday. and we're going to talk about that. I just felt that this is very important to say, and so that it will be out there that we need to rise up and be everything that God wants us to be. Until next time, I'm signing off. See you next time. Bye for now.